Hey everybody, it's Danny from Missouri Homeschool Alliance. I'm coming to you from my car as I sit outside my son's baseball practice this morning. I wanted to do a quick video here to point out to you that we have sent an alert to our members as of yesterday afternoon. We're asking that you take action on Senate Bill 53 and Senate Bill 195. Those two bills will be heard in the Senate Education Committee on Tuesday morning at 8 a.m. We wanted to explain briefly. Those two bills are, they seek to give a tax credit to homeschooling families and private schooling families to help cover what they call approved educational expenses. Now, that sounds like it sounds great on the surface, right? But we're going to explain a little bit about why that is bad for homeschooling. So first of all, understand that in the state of Missouri, we have a great homeschool law, and we never register or get permission or report to anyone what we are doing with homeschooling. And if we create a tax credit, then we are creating, obviously, a de facto registration for homeschoolers. Do you follow me? We are creating a list of who is homeschooling or who is in private school, and that is a list that Missouri has never kept. We guard the privacy of our homeschoolers very fiercely, and so we are against the idea of creating any sort of a registry or a list. Secondly, and very importantly, these two bills do something that is problematic, and that is that they confuse homeschooling with this new category of education that was created last year called FPE school, or family-paced education. This was created and carved out into our law for the very purpose of protecting homeschool families from the call for increased regulation that with the funding that would be coming for these FPE students. Families who choose the FPE option are allowed to receive some funding through the state, but they will have to comply with whatever rules and regulations that are outside of our current homeschool statute. They will have to comply with those things. Those rules have not yet been written, but they're going to have to comply with whatever that is in order to continue to receive their funding. Now, these two bills in question, they conflate homeschooling and FPE schooling. The reason that's a problem is because we have a precedent already in place. You may hear people say things like, well, you don't have to take the tax credit. It would be optional. You don't have to take the money if you don't want it. Well, we have already seen in a few states that have provided a tax credit or ESA funding for homeschooling. We have seen this optional program is put in place, and then quickly calls come for all homeschoolers to comply with the regulations that were placed on the funded homeschoolers, regardless of whether you're taking the money or not. So that was the thought process and the purpose behind getting this statutory separation last year, so that we can be sure that everyone knows that homeschooling and FPE schools are separate. So it's not a good look for us for these two bills to be conflating the two. Speaking of regulations, of course, whenever there is funding, regulations are going to follow. The bills talk about approved curriculum or approved expenses, but we don't know yet what those approved expenses actually would be. We don't know what those requirements would be, because these bills call for allowing the bureaucrats in Jeff City to write the rules after the bill is passed. So again, we don't yet have rules for the FPE school that was approved last year, and now we're wanting to create a whole new level of funding, a whole new program that again would not have any rules. So we're opposed to that idea, obviously. Now, furthermore, understand that this is a refundable tax credit. So it is calling for families to be able to receive a refund that would be greater than the amount of what their actual tax liability is. That is actually not my money follows my child. At this point, we're talking about my money, your money, my neighbor's money, my grandma's money, the guy down the street's money, right? I don't pay anywhere near in taxes what the bill would be seeking to give back to me as a homeschool parent. That is actually educational welfare. We are opposed to the idea of the government funding private education, especially homeschooling, and we are opposed to the idea of creating a new entitlement that is going to be almost impossible to undo if we do it. I want you to go to our blog, and there I've linked to these bills so you can read them yourself. I've linked to the information page where you can contact the legislators and you can submit your testimony online. You can please consider coming to testify in person. The weather looks a little sketchy for Tuesday, so I'm not sure how this is going to play out, but we are at this point planning to have someone there from MHA for sure to testify. But it depends on how the weather is looking. Please do feel free to reach out if you have questions for us, or we can help you in any way as you prepare your testimony. I thank you guys for being interested, for standing up and fighting for parent-led, privately funded education. I hope you guys have a great Saturday. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.